Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. My apologies, I missed doing my editorials for the last 7 days. It's because I was traveling, so I couldn't speak to you, I couldn't meet you, I couldn't talk to you. The topic that I wanted to discuss with you today is, what does being a Vishwa Guru or being number one GDP or fastest growing economy, I think what is all of this worth? What is all of this worth if we can't take care of our girl child? Let's discuss this. Let's get right into the show. You see, let me reiterate what I often said for years actually. Let me reiterate it. You see, if the government of the day, political dispensation, administration, judiciary, and our law and order wants, this country will not see one crime against women. It is only because of some lacunae or another by one of these mentioned organizations, departments, that we see crime against women. So if you want to, you can ensure that we eradicate crime against women from this country. Let me try and explain to you what I mean by that. You know the Kolkata case? In Kolkata case, the perpetrator, the rapist, had 4 wives. And he had assaulted all his 4 wives. The law enforcement agencies knew about it. Which means if he assaulted 1 wife, 2 wives, 3 wives, 4 wives, which means he's a serial offender. Why was a serial offender allowed to roam around in the streets of Kolkata? Why was he allowed to roam around in the streets of Kolkata like an ordinary man? Why wasn't he put behind bars? Why didn't the judiciary ensure that he's behind bars? Because wasn't it obvious that if he has assaulted 4 women, he could assault 5th, 6th, 7th, 100th? Wasn't it obvious? Wasn't that a lacunae? Let's talk about this principal of this college, Sandeep Ghosh. This fellow was trafficking biomedical equipments, products. This fellow was trafficking dead bodies, for crying out loud. He was trafficking dead bodies. This man was allowed to continue as a principal. And you are telling me that the system, the administration, the law enforcement agencies didn't know about it? After knowing about it, he was allowed to continue? This man on your screen, this man didn't allow the parents to meet their dead child for 3 hours. This man allegedly tried to convert a rape and murder into suicide. This man tried it. He resigned. And you know what the government did? The government took his resignation and gave another plush position somewhere else. What does that mean? How much impetus does the government give on the crime that just happened? If this wouldn't have blown the way it has, if media wouldn't have picked it up and made this into a national news, do you think anything would have happened? This principal fellow, he would have been sitting in some other college, tried and created some other trafficking racket there, and things would have been all fine. For all you know, this would have been pushed off as a suicide case. Isn't the government at fault? Isn't there a lacunae at the government's end? Something similar in Badlapur. You see, a sweeper sexually assaulted 2 kids, 3-year-old kids. I don't even know how to react to this. 2 little kids. Acha, now the question is, isn't the administration responsible to ensure that people who work in schools like this, where there are kids, girl children, even young boys, isn't it the duty of the administration to ensure that every person working in that school is profiled? Every person in that school goes through a background check? Isn't it the responsibility of the administration? Both the school administration and even the local administration. Even the local administration, isn't it their job? They have education officers, they have education team, the entire team that looks after education. Isn't it their job? Or is their job only to take bribes and give certification to schools? Is that their only job? Isn't that an administrative lacune? And look at our politicians. Look at our politicians. Our politicians are using this as a tool to fire on each other. How low can this get? How low can this get? Your channel had reported a rape and a murder case of another 3-year-old child. This child was raped in Vikhroli. She was murdered and she was thrown in a dustbin. She was thrown in a dustbin. The rapist is still not found.
ये एक माँ के आंसू हैं अपनी 2.5 साल की बिटिया के लिए।
मम्मी मैं 2 चॉकलेट लाऊंगी बोली मुझे आपस में आए।
ये एक पिता का दर्द है अपनी मासूम लाडली के लिए।
उसके हम लोग को याद आता है उधर, हम लोग उसका याद जाता भी नहीं अभी तक, हम लोग दिल में रहता है उसका याद।
ये एक माँ की गुहार है इंसाफ के लिए।
बहुत बुरी हालत में थी मेरा बच्चे, उधर से एम्बुलेंस आया, एम्बुलेंस ने लेके गया मेरे बच्चे।
Nobody talked about it. We had reported that in 2017. We were a very small channel. We had a very limited audience then. Nobody. The culprit is still at large. Nothing happened. No system is bothered. No law enforcement agency is bothered. No judiciary is bothered. No politicians are bothered. Because क्या बड़ा नहीं हुआ ना केस, कुछ issue नहीं हुआ ना, तो ठीक है. Tell me, with this attitude, do you think we can fight, we can combat crime against women? You remember the Unnao rape case? Unnao rape case 2019. When this 17-year-old girl, my apologies, 17-year-old girl was raped by a former BJP MLA called Kuldeep Singh Singhal. Kuldeep Singh Singhal raped her, and you know what? The police did not take her FIR. She had to threaten self-immolation for the police to take FIR and then later on the CBI to file the charge sheet. And ironically, after taking the FIR, the police, the father of the victim was beaten to death in police custody. Beaten to death in police custody. And 2 of her aunts and the victim herself and her lawyer was almost killed in an accident. Now, of course, CBI says that the accident was merely an accident. It was not nothing. There was no conspiracy behind it. The court agreed to the CBI. So, well, that is where it stands today. But this is what happened to a rape victim in our country. Hathras case, we all know. Again, Hathras was also referred to the CBI. 3 out of the 4 people who were accused of raping that girl and the cops burning that girl, not a funeral, burning that girl, putting petrol and burning that girl, that 3 or 4 accused were acquitted by the court. This is our justice. The point that I am trying to make is, are we serious about our justice? Are we serious about giving justice to our girl children? Are we serious about punishing the rapist, the sexual assaulter? You know, when I say the administration is very shallow when it comes to protecting our girls, what I mean is in Mumbai police had created this squad called Niraya Squad, where, it was advertised quite heavily and, all of that. Niraya Squad with new Ertiga vehicles and also 50, 100 odd vehicles were bought in. They were rebranded and it was supposed to be purely there to protect the girl child. Now, ironically, in 2020, crime against women in Mumbai was 4,583 according to NCRB. In 2021, the crime against women was 5,543 and 22, the crime against women increased to 6,178. So, other than reducing, this increased. So, technically, what exactly did Nirbhaya Squad achieve? Number 1. Number 2 is there were articles, there were reports in newspaper where Nirbhaya Squad vehicles were used for other reasons for whatever security or escorting or whatever. That is the level of shallowness that we show when it comes to protecting our children. The problem is, we have to understand that it is the system that's putting our girls at risk. The lack of diligence in doing their duty, performing their duty, is what's putting our girls at risk. It is the governments whose lackadaisical attitude towards girl child that's what's putting our children at risk. Mamata Banerjee, she is a woman herself. Other than using this as a political tool and trying to do dharna because CBI has come in, and did she ever ask her people as to how this person gets a transfer, and that too a plum posting after all of this happened in his college? Did she ever ask her? Pray tell me, did Bharatiya Janata Party, who put CBI, or the central government who put CBI on the Bharatiya Janata Party central government, who put CBI inquiry on this particular case, which is good, which is very good, did they bother to do the same when it came to the wrestlers, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh? So the CBI was put because they genuinely wanted a case to be resolved, or the CBI was put because they wanted to take political mileage out of it? You decide. Because had CBI been put in that Bharatiya Janata Party former MP's case, that is Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh's case, I could have understood. Udhar bhi dala, idhar bhi dala. But here the CBI is there, which is again, I am saying good. But what I am trying to understand is the cause of it. Is the reason really to ensure that we eradicate crime against women, or the reason is political? You see, every time a rapist like Rahim, whatever, insan, that fellow goes out in furlong to enjoy his birthday, he's mocking at the girls he raped. He is turning out to be an inspiration to people who could rape tomorrow. Uska dekho kya hua? He is still a hero. He's still a hero. He gets furlong. Arvind Kejriwal doesn't get bail. Think about it. Think about our judiciary. Think about the way this government is functioning. Same is the case when those people were giving laddus to Bilkis Banu's rapists and murderers. They were remitted. They were said, go, it's okay. You raped, you killed, no, it's okay. Go. This is what India said. We said, thanks to Justice Nagaratna, who ensured that they're back in jail. Otherwise, they would have been roaming free. Possibly, for all you know, they would have contested for elections. They would have won, for all you know. So what are we so surprised about? What are we talking so much? What are we raising our eyebrows? What are we saying that it's unbelievable? We made it believable. We made it happen. We are the cause of it. It's our system. Everything is our system. The party that whose member was possibly responsible for a rape, who killed the victim's father and victim's sister, that party is again back to power. Mamata Banerjee could possibly be again coming back to power. So, to some extent, we too are to blame for all of this. We too are to blame for all of this. Today, let me tell you this. And like I said, I have been saying this for years now. Today, let me tell you this. We give more impetus for a financial crime, especially if it is done by a political opponent, than to a rape. A rapist gets away. A rapist gets bail. Chances of a rapist getting bail is far higher than the chance of a person who is under ED custody getting bail. Can you imagine? This is the country we live in. Be mindful. The money in your wallet today is more valuable than a girl child. That is the message we are sending to our children. My last question. And my last question is directed to the judiciary. We decided there was a bill passed where a rapist would be put to death, would be hung to death. We spoke about a fast track court. Pray tell me, this happened after Nirbhaya. Nirbhaya rapists were hung. After that, how many cases of hanging for rapists have you heard of? How many cases? Have you heard of one case? Forget about how many cases. Have you heard of one case? 2012, because of all that public fury, public coming out on the streets, they were hung. After that, finished. I have yet to see a fast track court. I have yet to see a case fast tracked and, judgment happened in days, months. I have yet to see that. And therefore, I say that every crime against women can be stopped in this country if the politicians, the government of the day, the judiciary, the administration and the law enforcement agencies want it to be stopped. And the most important thing is, somewhere down the line, in a lot of sense, we too are responsible. Because our memories are short. And this short memory of ours has been putting us into a lot of problems. Because somewhere down the line, even the politician knows that public memory is very short. Kal bhul jayenge. This is the point I wanted to make. Till I see you next time. That's tomorrow at 10 p.m. Namaskar.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.